Hi guys, it's Claris, and today we are going to do a tutorial on the difference between painting florals using your regular watercolors, like for instance, my regular watercolors are St. Petersburg White Nights, versus using the concentrated line by Dr. P.H. Martins. So I'm just going to do a quick rendition of the same floral, and you can see how the flow is different for each of these colors. All right, so let's get started. So for brushes, I'm going to have these handy, which is the Silver Black Velvet 8, the number 4. But what I'll be dominantly using is the Filbert 4 that I have here, and then the mop brush number 1 to kind of blend things out. And these are just going to be additional if I need it. Actually, I think I might use the 4 to kind of put down the color and then have it spread out. All right, so that's for brushes. For my colors, I am going to try the cherry red. And then I am also going to have my Mars brown for the regular watercolor. And then if we're doing anything additional to it, I'll let you guys know what I'm using later. Possibly the sepia or the sienna, the dark brown that I have. But let's get this started first. All right, so let's begin. We're going to start off with using the regular color and see where that takes us. So the first thing I'm going to do is, using the palette that I have not cleaned properly, I'm just going to use my number 1 mop brush to get some of this brown available for my using. And I'm just going to put it next to this orange, so if it does end up mixing with that orange, it's okay, because I think it would go well. But this is like a caramelly color at this point, and I'm just gonna, it's nice and activated right now in the color cake here, so if I need additional, I can always get some more from there. So the first thing I'm gonna do before adding any color is my technique for using for creating florals with this with the regular color is by actually laying down some water first. So I'm going to use my Filbert, and I am just going to get some strokes of water to indicate the petals. So for the sake of this tutorial, let's just make it like one of those peonies that I have that are off to the side. I think I've done quite a few videos of those already. So I'm just going to go ahead and do one facing this way. So I'm just going to add some strokes like this. And I'm like leaving a couple of like white space areas there. And you can probably not see it, but I'll show you exactly how those strokes are looking right now, because now I'm going to go in with the number 1 mop brush, and I'm just going to go like this. And even I have to bend down to kind of see where exactly is the water. So as you can see, my blend using these colors come mainly from the fact that the water is laid down first. And then as I'm kind of adding additional strokes, because I can see where the water is, I'm just highlighting certain areas that I would want to be seen for this floral. And then I'm just going to use the number 1 mop brush to kind of add additional dark hues to the bottom. And then add a couple of strokes here and there, very loose. And then I'm just going to go back in with the with the Filbert and just add another stroke of just water, in hopes that it'll touch these petals that we've created and the color will kind of seep in. Now that might not happen right away because these colors don't kind of seep as well as the what am I trying to say? The radiant line. Yep, that's it. But you can, with some kind of nudging and prodding, you can kind of get it to be decent enough. So this is my rendition of how you can kind of mix and match, mix and create that kind of very loose look for florals using your regular watercolor. Now, I also like to add like additional strokes of like another color in there just to kind of give it a nice look. So I'm going to use my number 4 and just throw in some orange a bit here and there, all kind of going downward to the center. Maybe even highlighting some of the edges to kind of give it some nice separation, as opposed to making it look like one big blob of color. So loose and pretty. And then finally, I'll just add, using the number 4 itself, I'm just going to add a darker hue of this to the bottom here so that it kind of blends out. And you can see the clear separation. And then I'm just going to go in with to create the outer bit of the florals, which is right here, so that it looks like a nice full peony that's like looking upward. Dipping the tip in water, I'm just getting a looser, lighter version of the color so I can kind of close this up. I'm just adding a couple of strokes, and I want to leave a lot of white space. And then here you go, we have our peony. I know it's huge, right? But that's what happens when you kind of use these brushes. They're pretty huge. So that's good enough, and you can kind of add additional highlights to it if you want to, just to kind of make it not so flat looking if you wish. And the best way to do that for a style like this is just adding a darker hue. So I'm just doing that right now, and then we are moving on to the next flower. So the next one is going to be me showing you how to use and create a floral like this using the Radiant Concentrated, like I mentioned. So I'm just going to wash my brushes and we are going to get started. Okay, so for this floral, here's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to move this down just a tad bit so I can have that floral happen here. And I'm actually going to use, remember in previous videos, I've always kind of put the color onto a palette, but for this video, I'm just going to have the color directly on here, and we're going to do it that way. All right, so I'm going to start off by adding 3 dots here. That's a lot of color, guys, but we're also going to get like this amazing flow. So that's all I have. And now I'm going to go in with my Filbert and trying to take off as much water as I can. I'm just going to create, look at that flare. Look at that. I'm going to switch around to get another loose petal there. I don't want to add too much water to my brush because then it'll get too watery. But look at that. And now I can just go in with this brush, maybe even get a little bit of that brown to kind of offset this bright pink that we have going on. But look at it. Isn't it stunning? I'm going to get some of that brown here just to kind of get it in mixed with that pink. Look at that. Like, look at the flow. It just doesn't compare. So if you guys like this kind of style, you should absolutely think about investing in in these P.H. Martin colors. It takes a little bit of getting used to because the flow is so intense and you're literally like, wow, as you can see happening here. But it's so worth it, and it gets you some really interesting results in your paintings. So I'm just going to leave this as is here. And I'm just trying to move the color all the way down to the center. As you can see, it's like this nice pizzazz of color. So just dipping the tip of my mop, I'm just going to do the top very lightly. Hopefully it's not too intense. So dipping more in water, and I'm going to get some light strokes happening. Probably didn't even need to do this at the top, but just touched a little bit of this petal here so I can get some color flowing in. And again, you have this lovely loose floral that's like evolving into its own little thing. So you can kind of move the color around and add a good enough spread of this pink. And you can see by adding the brown, it's kind of really muted. It's given it a nice offset kind of look and feel. And I'm just going to add some water strokes here so that it kind of blends in as opposed to looking too solid. And I'll leave that as that. So this is my mop brush versus regular brush video. Sorry, not mop brush versus regular brush. Regular watercolor versus the Radiant watercolor by Dr. P.H. Martins. So hope you guys can see the difference, and let me know in the comments what you guys have thought about this. Let me know if you have any questions. If you are interested in purchasing the colors that I have, I just have 4 of them, and I've listed them in affiliate links below in the description. If you do want to purchase from there, you are absolutely free to get it from there. If not, that's totally cool. Yes, and send me your work on Instagram and Facebook. Do follow me there as well. I love seeing what you guys have come up with. You've maybe gotten inspired by something that I put out, and then you kind of did something and it looked fabulous and you love it. I would love to see it. So thanks so much, guys, for watching, and I will see you guys Saturday for another video. Bye.